Welcome, guys, to Let's Talk About It, a podcast that gives a platform for real talk, real people, real topics, real conversation. This is my story, part four. Last ended out in high school, graduated high school. You can go back on part three. Uh, dive into a lot of things back in the day. Today, 18 years old, out and about, out of high school. Like, damn, what's going on? Right. Had to find a job, had to keep on going. I didn't want to go to college. So, so now here we are. Found a job. I think my first job out of high school after everything that happened over the summer uh, was working in an arcade, in downtown Philly. I think it was like 16th and Chestnut. Like the old arcades. They don't have them no more. You barely even see them. Like, all the, I went in there being the guy who had the bag and had his quarters, breaking chains, giving them out, stuff like that. So I started meeting a lot of different people, meeting a lot of girls. It was crazy. Being downtown, you could see everything, right? So, I met this guy named Cliff, cool dude. He was from another country. He claimed he was from another country. Now he was kind of like acting like a little front, a little fraud, but he was real cool. So we became cool and stuff like that. So as at this point going on, I'm making a little money, and I started dating all type of different people, older women, different than I guess the inner city women back in my area, back in my hood, or whatever on Dry Ave in West Philly. Start meeting all types, different nationalities, different ethnicities, whatever that word is, right? Um, you know, People from New York come to Philly, people from everywhere. I just started meeting all brand new people. They was all older, so I was learning how to date and how to come up with something, like trying to figure out who I was, like dating these women. I was at that age where I was lying about my age. God knows I did. I lied so many times. I think I was meeting women at 24, 25. I'm saying that I'm 21, 22. I'm 18 years old. I look like I was 18 years old. I had a little box haircut from back in the day, with the little part in the middle. If people can remember that, right? So I was like, what? I need to make more money, have better clothes and stuff like that. So I decided to get a job at the Gap. If you remember the Gap, right? The Gap was like it back in the day. This is like late 90s, late 80s, early 90s, right? Everybody went to the Gap. Better quality of clothes. I got a discount. Sometimes, I'll slide some stuff. I'll get a couple of, outfits and put them in the bag and put it outside the back door in the alleyway. I'll go back and get them later. Man, I wasn't always an honest person in the world. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. So I started dressing better and trying to come up with a whole new who am I, right? So I started hanging out and doing all type of stuff with people and all that, this and that, at the end of summer. Right. So then I started to go, I think like August sometime or whatever it was, the summer before the fall, start going down the shore. Now, people back home in Philly and Jersey, about the shore, the Jersey Shore. It's a place to go. It's like you know what I mean, right? You got the boardwalk, right? You got the water. You got everything. Our water was like greenish brown, but we didn't die from it. You still got in. The beaches was cool. The vibe was cool. Yeah, bars, the boardwalk, right? You had that little annoying tram car, watch the tram car, please. Watch the tram car, please. People in the area, you would know that, right? So as I'm going on, I'm having fun down there in the summertime and stuff like that. It reminds me of something from back in the day. I remember when I was a kid, I think like around 12 years old. Like my grandmother, she used to take me down to Atlantic City, right, to go down to the beach down there. And some of Atlantic City has no type of beach, but it was cool. It reminded me of a kid, we go down there, the night before I make like a tape on my boombox from Power 99. It's like I had the music playing on the beach, my little boom box, all the big double D batteries. I get a whole bunch of those, having in my boom box, play on the beach. You know what I'm saying? And like, I jump in the water, jump around, play in the water. But I can remember my grandmother, right? She used to go there and she would float on her back. That was like her relaxation. It was crazy. Like she used to love that right there, right? And I used to like get a kick out of her just taking it all in, just floating on her back in the ocean, right? In the Atlantic City Ocean. Uh, so after it was all done, we'd go up to the boardwalk, them little walk-in showers, rinse off, stuff like that. She give me $5 to go play in the arcade, right? Go play in the arcade. So she go upstairs to go up to the casinos. I'm like, okay, I'm 12 years old. This is back in the day in the 80s. Nobody thinking about kidnapping or child abduction or some shit like that, whatever. So I'm playing all the video games and stuff like that, having fun, right? And just brought back so many memories that she went upstairs, she comes downstairs, and then we go off, right? We did that a couple of times like back in the day. And that's why I remind you, like when I start going down the shore, having fun, going to arcade, meeting plenty of girls, because I was I was a girl chaser. I'm not gonna lie, yeah, I was, going down the shore. Everybody like they meet me at the bar, they hook up, a little hotels underneath the boardwalk. You know what I'm saying? Like we had a lot of fun down the shore. So as I'm like going into the fall session, my mom and them was like, listen, you gotta do something. I was like, all right, what you want me to do, mom? Go to community college. So I go to community college in Philadelphia. I was like, I didn't know what to take. I'm just like, whatever. So I'm taking basic classes, basic business. I think it's business administration. So it's easy shit. Basic math, basic English. I wasn't that smart in school. So as I'm in school, right, I discovered like the guy Cliff I used to work with at the arcade was there. So I was like, cool, man, yo, what's up? Let's hang out, whatever, do what we gotta do. So then, like one day, right, a couple months go past, right? We meet uh we meet two females, right? That was in his class. They were at that time, unusual, right? To me, because I wasn't used to seeing them type. They had the old Milli Vanilli braids in the hair. You remember that band Milli Vanilli? Had all the braids and stuff like that. Their name was Sabrina and Tamika. And it was like these good, nice girls, right? So, like, know me, I'm a clown and stuff like that from back in the day into this one. So I'm up and making them laugh, and now we hanging out, we having fun, and like we just kicking it. Like, and we was four different people. Cliff was this, I can't describe Cliff. He was just so much different. And then you had the two girls that was kind of like sheltered in South Philly coming to college, getting out in the world for the first time, shy, especially Sabrina. She was real, real shy. So, right, we start hanging out, right? So we went to our first concert, a Milli Vanilli concert. Go figure, right? With the girls, they got the hair. You know what I mean? They like dancing and stuff like that. And so we just hung out, we having fun, stuff like that. And then I brought them over to my grandma's house for barbecues or whatever. So as time goes on, right, I found out that Sabrina liked me. I was like, okay, well, I mean, no, she was pretty. I mean, no, she was like, whatever, right? So I remember a time we was over my house, and Tamika, a friend, was like, I forgot how it was, right? No, they never kissed a boy before. Like, what? Like, man, y'all like 19. Like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, at this time we're 19. So, like, y'all never kissed a boy before? Like, no, we want to do it, right? But Cliff, I don't know what Cliff was at. I don't know where he was at. So, and so it was like, so what are you saying? Like, no, so we want you to do it. I'm like, wait, me? Like, I'm like, think about this. Like, two girls wants me to kiss them for the first time, right? So check this out. So, so the first person goes was Tamika, right? So we kiss, it's like, whatever, this and that, right? So then the other girl was Sabrina, right? So Sabrina, she came up, she's like, are you ready? So she was all shy, nervous, and stuff like that, right? Let me tell you about Sabrina. Sabrina was the one who never went out. She was like in the house. Like basically, she went to school, came home, like sheltered, right? So, never had a boyfriend, never been on a date, never kissed a boy, and was a virgin. Okay. So she's like, yeah, she was all nervous and stuff like that. So we kissed, right? And it was like crazy. Like it was like just kind of like connection, right? Right. It was like nuts. So I was like, okay, all right, she can kiss. And and cause me and Tamika was like, mwah, that was it, right? But me and Sabrina was like, that shit went on like a fucking minute, minute and a half, right? So it's connection there. So we started like talking and we started dating, right? Which my mom at the time, she fell in love with her. Like, she, for years, I remember, for all this time, like she used to say, oh man, if I could trade you in for her, I would fucking love it. Like she loves Sabrina like crazy, right? So a couple months later, you know, me being a little bad boy, I talked her into I don't know if I talked her into it or she came to me. But anyway, she's a virgin and she wanted me to be a first. I was like, cool. All right. That was a first. Okay. All right. So I'm not gonna get into the details, I respect for her. But it was a good experience, very nice experience. We dated, we kept on going out, we did all type of stuff, right? So then we was going out all the time. But at the same time, I was still going out with the boys, hanging out at the little clubs and stuff like that. I wasn't always on my best behavior. I wasn't. Um, I think she found out that I actually was cheating on her, and she got mad and she left. And then I begged her back. I said, I'm sorry, I'm not gonna do it anymore. I'm a kid, right? Stupid. So I said, okay, I'm not gonna do this anymore. So she took me back. So, and after that, I said, like, I think my grandma was like, you know what? She's a good girl. You should think about actually really asking her to marry you. I'm like, whoa, marry? Like, okay, well, I guess. I mean, we was 20 years old, right? At this time. Um, so after that, right, I took her to dinner to a seafood Shanny's in Northeast Philly. Right, I was trying to be all romantic and shit. Right, I got the little like the little tape recorder. Right, and I record like a Mariah Carey song. Uh, I forgot what it was. I forgot what it was. Right, so I put it on the table and I said, I played the song, and right, people was around us looking and shit like that. And it was like, wow. So I bust out the ring, a box. She started crying. I was like, will you marry me? It's like, oh my gosh, she started crying. So I was like, will you marry me? She said, yes, yes, yes. Okay. We was gonna plan it out for the future. Didn't know my mom was happy, everybody was happy. I was young, right? She was young. I don't know how her parents felt. I forget about that point. But her parents was real cool. Dad was old school. Her mom was the best cook in the world. Loved her to death. Then dummy me went to a party. Um, met a girl. Cheated again. Don't I can't explain it. What the hell? And Sabrina's a good girl. Okay, did nothing wrong. Begged her back again. She took me back. Okay. Then I found out a month or two later she is pregnant. Yep, pregnant. Whew. I'm like, wow. So I gotta get another job. So at this point, I think I went into I gave up to the Gap, or I got fired or something like that. I guess for stealing. They finally got me for stealing out the back door. So I get a job. My aunt got me a job in the bakery and stuff like that. So I'm being a baker in a bakery, trying to make some extra money because she's coming. Right now, you're probably wondering what happened to my daughter. At 18, I'm gonna go back to when I was 18. I was 18 years old. I saw her one time. Then her mom and her moved away, and I had no idea where she was at. None. Did I try to find it at that immature time? I was like, I'll probably see her again. Okay. I was that little stereotype. I didn't really fight. Didn't. I was 18 at that time. And then I was like, damn, Sabrina's pregnant now. Like, shit, man. Damn. Like, what am I going to do? I Michelle left with Sherelle, my daughter. I didn't know what she left to. Now Sabrina's pregnant. Like, damn, I got to get my shit together. But at the same time, I'm hanging out with the boys. Okay. Now, hanging out with the boys, right? I hung out with these guys. Uh, you know, we it was like six of us. Well, at first it was four of us. They came up to six. And I got a little apartment. Actually, it was a house that my grandmother converted. It's like a three story built house. She converted it into apartments. So she rented one out to me. It was right next door to my mom. So I ain't really going nowhere, but consider I'm on my own. Okay. So I get my own apartment. Me and the boys are hanging out. We doing all type of shit. We going out to parties. We going here. We going there. We hanging out. We getting into trouble. And this was the age where, like, wow, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, at the same time, Sabrina's pregnant, but I'm still partying, this and that. So my time started to go dwindle down when I was supposed to see her. So I'm up here partying and hanging out, doing all this dumb shit. To where I was getting myself in trouble. I wasn't being faithful, stupidity. Now like you probably think, well, damn, well, your girl's pregnant, you up here fucking around. I was like 20 years old. I was dumb. I was dumb. So then I think something happened to where I had to snap out of it. I had to be there for her. Start being around her more often, this and that. I'm working. Then I get that phone call that she went into labor. So I'm trying to rush down to Pennsylvania Hospital, and I got there late. My son was born. I got there I think an hour after he was born and shit. Like, fuck. Right. And I get there, two of my buddies are with me. And I'm like, damn, I got a son. Right. I'm like, what you gonna name him? She said, I'm gonna name him after you. And her exact words was, I'm gonna name him after you, even though you don't deserve the name. So I get it. I was fucking up. So I'm holding my son, Lewis Jr. I'm like, wow, I can't believe it. Right. Bang. So at this point, I'm going to work, going over there, going to see him at the beginning. And at the beginning, like maybe the first 2 months, maybe, but then everything started drastically declining because I was going out more with the boys and this and that. So this is where it gets interesting, right? One day I went to my mom and I said, Mom, I got a son now. I want to know who my father is. So she told me a story. She told me that she was in college. She was at Harvard College. He went to he was she was in Rosemont College. He went to Harvard College, and they met, hooked up, bring him over for dinner. She got pregnant. He left. That's it. That's her side. I'm like, wait a minute. So I went to my grandmother. My grandmother kind of told me the same thing, but she said his parents came up from down south, said, no, he can't do it. He has obligations. He's not gonna ruin his career. That's what she said. So I went to my grandfather. He said, well, I went up there, I had a talk with him. He said he didn't want to do it. He had other obligations. He left. So I'm getting all these stories, right? So I decided to get in contact with Harvard College, the alumni office. I don't know what made me think of it. So I go ahead, I get in contact with him. Say, listen, I'm trying to leave, a message for so-and-so. Name is Calvin. So I said, oh, we don't get our information. We can take your name and number. Okay, no problem. Crazy, 2 weeks later, I get a phone call. I said, hello? He's like, is this Lewis? Like, yeah, who's this? This is Calvin, your father. So I'm like, oh, shit. So I'm shocked, right? Now I'm like 20 years old. Like 21 years old. I'm like, I'm hearing from my father for the first time ever, right? Never met him, nothing. I'm 21, right? Just had my own kid. Well, I actually had two kids. My daughter, she left with her mom, okay? Now I'm barely interacting with my youngest son, but now I'm dealing with this shit. So we talked and stuff like that, and he invited me down to Georgia where he was at. So I talked to my mom. My mom was like, "You sure you want to do that?" I was like, "Yeah, I want to know this man. Okay, I'm a father right now, so I got to know, right?" She's like, "I don't think you want to do that." Like, all right, well, I'm gonna do it anyway. So he sends me a plane ticket. I fly down there, and we meet at a bar. I'm legal. We have a drink. He tells me his side story. Tells me that he was, he was young. He didn't know, he was scared. His parents made him leave because he was not going to finish medical school. They want him to go to medical school. Yep, you guessed it. He was a doctor. He has his own practice in internal medicine in Savannah, Georgia. So he told me the story. I was like, shit. So then I found out he was married. Beautiful, yeah, a beautiful lady named Kathy. Have mad respect for her. Met her. She was so nice and so sweet to me. Had nothing bad to say about her at all. She was light skinned like my mom, kind of like the same height. It was crazy, right? Then I finally got two little brothers, Calvin and Craig. I was like, wow, I got two little brothers, right? I thought I was the only fucking child. So, like, we talking and we getting to know each other, stuff like that. I go down there a couple of times. I tell him, like, yeah, man, like, no, you got a little nephew and little niece. And then I think at this time, like my father was trying to be a father. You should do this, you should do that. I'm like, dude, you can't tell me what to do. I mean, you wasn't there. So we got into a big riff. But at the same time, I wasn't really doing what I was supposed to do with my son. Like I was barely there. Like, no, I'll go see him, I buy clothes and this and that. But not the time. I wasn't there enough for him. Like I was his father, but I was not a dad. Basically, I was just a biological father. Seriously, first 2 years. Because at this time, right, I was just hanging out with the boys. You know what I mean? Seeing him when I can. And I got away from my father. He was getting on my nerves. And I lost contact with my two little brothers for a couple of years. So then we go into the whole 20s aspect. Like, I'm wilding with the boys. We drinking, we going to parties. We start, I guess, at a certain time. Like this might be a little controversial, right? If you guys remember the whole Jungle Fever movie back in the day, it came out the white interracial shit. We was into that whole world too. That was when interracial dating was actually frowned upon, but they brought out the movie, Spike Lee's version. So, right, we really never really dated or got with white girls before. I mean, I dated one prior, like years ago, but didn't really have that experience like that. So, this is actually pretty cool. One night, a guy named Chip came to us, like, yo, man, I met me a white girl. So back then it was like, what? What? I mean, we all from the hood. You know what I mean? Whatever. I know it's like whatever. But if you live in the inner city area, you're around all black people, right? So we go out. And it's like, yeah, you met one. Like, yeah, yo, man, she got friends, right? I'm like, all right, cool. Yo, let's go up 69th Street and go meet him, right? So it was like, I think it's like 8 of us, right? So we get there, right? We're staying across the movie theater, right? So my man Tone was like, yo, we can't tell them our real names. Like, what do you mean you can't tell them our real names? Like, yo, we gotta have makeup names just in case. Like, what do you mean? Because they white, man. They might, I mean, they might know Popo. They might, I mean, they might know police. They might hook us up. They might set us up. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? So anyway, he comes up with a name. He called himself Raheem after the juice of Raheem. And Troy was like, all right, I'm gonna name myself Mark. And B was like, I'm gonna be Larry. And Doe was like, yeah, I'm gonna be Dennis, man, from somewhere. I don't know where the fuck he got it from. And Jan was like, Kanye, he was like, listen, I'm gonna be Shakur, like after Tupac Shakur. So I'm thinking myself, what the fuck I'm gonna call myself, right? I'm like, so like, being who I am, I see the girls, they across the street. So I'm like, fuck it, I'm just gonna walk over there and go up to them, say what's up, right? I'm like, I'm all big and bad. So I'm thinking, I'm back in my mind, like, damn, like, I don't got a name, right? So I'm walking across right now, and like, the SEPTA bus passed me, right? And it said Dave somebody. And I was like, okay, shit, my name Dave. My name Dave, right? So, and the only reason why I tell you that, because throughout the years, me and the boys hung out and causing all type of trouble and mischief. We never used our real names for years. We always went by aliases. Like, if you see this, if you see me, you're like, wait a minute, your name not Lewis. Your name was Dave, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, we had those aliases for years, right? And we went by, we got in trouble. We was smoking weed. We was drinking 40s, like the whole stereotype 40s in the corner. St. Ives, Coco 900, Colt 45. I was Colt 45 because I'm a big Billy D. Williams fan. But we was doing all type of shit, getting in trouble, but I still was working, right? But at the same time, I was neglecting my youngest son. I saw him every now and then. I see him for holidays and stuff like that. Sabrina, she was on me about it, right? And she was on me like, I can't do this with you anymore. Can't do it. I was like, wow, you just gonna leave me? Like, yeah. She left. She was angry. She was left. And I was mad. I was like, why you just gonna leave me? But she got every right, man. I'm not being around. I'm hanging out with my boys like every weekend. Even though I'm working, I'm not really spending time with my son, right? Now I'm admitting all this shit, right? That's what I went through. I was young. I was stupid. I think about all this shit now. I'm like, what the fuck was I thinking? Like, what was I doing? Right? Like, I missed out. Number one, my daughter, first of all, was for the state laws. Then she left. I didn't see her. Now I got a son that my mom probably spent more time with him than I did, right? I was too busy hanging out with the boys, chasing girls, which by the way, I'm not gonna lie to you, like, you should put like a leash around us, like a dog collar, because that's how bad we were. Like, we was really, really bad. Seriously. And I didn't do it. So as the years going on, like, we're hanging out, we're with the boys, and like, and I got real close to them. Like, we was brothers, like up and downs, had fights, and like we fought each other, but we was always had each other's back. Always. Like, I was with these dudes like almost 24/7, coming over my apartment, hanging out, smoking weed, just, jumping on a train to go to New York City on New Year's Eve for Times Square, going down Virginia for Freaknik, which is like a big sorority fraternity party. Uh, Going to all the Greek picnics in Philly, in Fairmount Park, which is the biggest party in the summertime. Chasing girls, getting their numbers, and going through everything. You know what I mean? Like, we was like dogs, right? Right. But there was a time, and you're probably saying, like, no, hope you use protection. At this time, this is when Magic came out. He came out with the whole HIV/AIDS thing. That hit hard. They was like, oh shit, he gonna die. Like, we didn't know what it was, right? So we all rushing down to the free clinic. We got bags of condoms, like bags like this. And we strapping up like crazy. Condom at this, condom at that, condom at this. Strapping up, strapping up. Bad boys, right? Dog. Like, yeah, I mean, listen, people, you probably seen this now. Like, why are you telling this shit? Because this is what I went through. If I'm gonna tell this story, I'm gonna tell it all. You know what I mean? In my 20s, it was not the best time, but sometimes it was. It taught me a lot. It taught me a lot about brotherhood. It taught me I had a lot of fun, but also taught me that I was not a good father. Was not. Was not. Because when I look back on this now, Like I missed so much of my youngest son's life. He didn't deserve that. His mom, she was a virgin. She was a good girl. She didn't deserve none of it. Nothing. She deserved none of that. She didn't deserve the cheating. She didn't deserve me not being there for our son. No, she supported me. She actually loved me. You know what I mean? But I was stupid. I was that dumb Philly inner city kid, I guess, the stereotypical kid. You know what I mean? I'm not there. And who am I to do that to my son or my daughter or any child? It was done to me. Think about that. My father wasn't there for 21 years of his life. It was 21 years of my life. Everybody got their reasons for it. Some people say, well, he did this, he didn't know, whatever. He knew because he told me. He chose not to. So I guess it's like what, they'll chip off the old block and shit. Like I fucked up. And I feel ashamed of that, man. Like, going out there and partying up and oh my God, it was terrible. It was straight terrible. And me and the boys, we be having fun, this and that. Like I said, man, like you can write a book about the shit me and them guys did. Like it could be adult, pornographic, it could be everything. Like we done it all. Like I'm not gonna really get into it. You know what I mean? Like I would have to create like an OnlyFans account, you know what I mean, to tell them damn stories. Trust me, it was not good. We was not good boys. But we did use protection. So that's something right there. And so as I'm going through all this process, and I still wasn't like, I was like a part-time father to my son. And at this point in time, my daughter came back in the picture, right? She popped up. She came back. I talked to her mother. She's like, are you going to man up and take care of your kid? I'm like, well, you left. You ain't track us down. She right. So start spending time. My daughter's a little girl. And I'll never forget the time, right? My parents and I went to dinner. I think it was on Easter. It's actually on Easter. I had my little girl. I think she was like 5 at the time. And Junior, he was like 2 or 3. Like 2. Oh, 1. The 2? 2. And she was like, no, was she 5 or 6 at that time? Whatever it was. She's chasing him around, brother and sister. It was a great sign. Like, like, wow, like that should have been my sign. Like, be a man. Take care of your responsibilities. No. Fell right back in the trap of hanging out with the boys. You got to figure, right? I ain't really have that type of friendship when I was a kid. I'm trying to find myself. I'm acting out. I'm doing dumb things in class while I was younger. Trying to get people to like me, right? So then I find some boys that I was like a total different person. I guess I was a different person again. And I was Dave. I wasn't Lewis. Like I became Dave. Dave was this dog. Bow wow, woof woof. But we had a bond, like a brotherhood bond. But what did that brotherhood bond get me? No, I wasn't around my kids. That hurts. Like back then, I didn't get it. I didn't get it at all. I didn't get it. But I'm 52 years old. As I'm telling all these things, and I hope somebody hears me. We all make mistakes. We all make mistakes. I made one of the biggest ones. I missed out on my son's earlier years and my daughter. And then after that, right, I was part-time for her too when she came back. So that's 2 kids. Because I wanted to hang out. I wanted to be in down. I wanted to hang out. I wanted to go here, go there, hang out with my cousins and do all this stuff. Hang out with my cousins, hang out with my boys, go to New York all the time. I stayed in New York, stayed in Brooklyn, stayed in Long Island. Went down to Virginia, went to DC, went to Maryland. Went down Maryland, went up to Massachusetts, Connecticut, hung out. That's all I did was hang out, right? But I wasn't a good father. It was about me, selfishness. That's what I learned from that. Selfish. You know, that makes me fucked up right now, right? This is the first time I really taking this in. You know, I'm admitting that I was not a good father to my kids when they were younger. I'm admitting it 100%. It is all my fault. I can't blame Michelle with my daughter. You know, she made a choice leaving. I can't blame Sabrina. I mean, God knows, man, I cheated on her so many damn times. She forgave me. Like, I mean, what else can she do? She had to move on, right? She had to move on. But I can't forgive what I did. I can't repair that. So as I'm going on, hanging out, barely being there. Um, I come up and we was partying one night. Like, you know, this is a lot of other stuff. I'm gonna let that go. It take too long to get into my 20s. God knows. It's like, you know, you got the dog edition, you got the porno edition. I'm gonna let that go. You know what I mean, like, if you want me to open up OnlyFans or content, let me know. I'll tell you all that shit. It's some legendary stuff. But I went through a process of working and not being there for the kids, and all of a sudden, like, I was hanging out one night with the boys. And then, like, this is like a couple years later, after partying and doing all this shit. Chip, the same guy, introduced us to the white girls back in the day. He said, "Yeah, man, like, no, I got this girl. She got a friend." And I was like, "Oh, all right, cool, man. I don't care, whatever." You know what I mean, right? Because he was gonna hook up the friend with Tone, my buddy. So we was all out of the party, North Philly. We doing our thing. Some wild, party we got into. It was, pretty bad, epic. It was pretty epic. Had to use a lot of contraceptives. You know what I mean? Had fun. Anyway, but so we go to North Philly and McDonald's, and I'm hungry. I'm going inside. I'm gonna get me something. So there's two girls there. One was Carol. One name was Jane. Jane was supposed to meet Tone, but Tone his pager kept on getting blown up. Remember back in the day we had the pagers, like, and they'll keep on putting the number 911, 911, and he had a whole bunch of quarters to go find a phone booth and shit. You remember? You got the quarters, you put them in, this and that, whatever. So his baby mom was blowing him up. So I come out and like, the girl asks, "Is that Tone?" She's like, he's like, "No, no, 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 right? That's my boy Dave, right? You want you him?" It's like, "Nah, I mean, oh yeah, I mean, like, I mean, he's cute, you know what I mean? Yeah." So she looked over Tone, looked at me, she wanted to rap to me. I'm like, okay, cool, whatever. So I went across the street, talked to Tone, like, "Yo, man, like, your girl want to talk to me." Like, "Go ahead, man, have it, man. I got baby mama trouble." So we talking and shit. And like, we started dating. And like, I told her about, Sherelle and Junior and stuff like this and that. And they would start dating, going out, and seeing each other. She would come over my apartment almost every day, every night. Dated hard. We had a good relationship. It was crazy. Like, I mean, we did have a good relationship. So then one day she comes over. She's pregnant. Yep. Here we go. Number 3. I was like, what the fuck? Right? Like, so I tell my grandmother, she's like, "Listen, boy, you can't be knocking up all these chicks and you got to marry somebody." Right? Uh, Jay and I had feelings for each other. She was younger than me. Uh, so I said, "Okay, yeah, you know what? I'm just gonna get married. Fuck it." So I never forget this day. I mean, she'll probably tell another version of it, but I'm telling my side. I said, "Yo, you pregnant? Let's just get married. Fuck it." She said, "Okay." You know what I'm saying? So it was crazy how the whole process went. So let's take it back here. I got a daughter. I got a son. And I got a new girl that I was dating. She gets pregnant, and I'm about to marry her. Now, how you think the other two felt? Okay, think about that, right? I don't really know how my daughter's mom felt, but I tell you right now, my son's mom was not too fucking happy about that shit though. You know what I mean? But then I threw it back, and then her and I got into a big argument. I threw it back on, well, you know what I mean? Like, I tried to marry you, you ain't want to marry me. She's like, no, this and that. So we got in a big huff and puff. But whatever it was. So I'm gonna end it coming up here, but me and Jane got married when she was 6 months pregnant. And I'm gonna end it right there. You know, it was a ride. It was an interesting time. I made it shorter this time. Going to sections. I guys hope you just hope you like it. Hope you get something from it. Hope I didn't bore you too much. It's stuff that I'm learning and I'm going through. Yeah, that happened. So stay tuned for part 5 for I'm there at the wedding. She's 6 months pregnant. All right. Everybody have a good day. See you soon for part 5. Peace.